They remain, of course, in a Champions League place, now just 2 ahead of Milan, 5 of Lazio, who has a game in hand. This is what Spalletti then had to say on leaving Mauro Icardi out. He had a lot to say. As things stand today, for the way he behaved, he has to stay out and the others have to play. It is clear for everyone to see what happened and how events unfolded. I think he could have played 20 to 30 minutes, even half a game, but that's not the point. Negotiating with someone just to get him to pull on the Inter shirt, what do I need to? To email 20 lawyers and ask them if I can call someone up? Inter lost worse games than this with Icardi. Messi makes the difference, not Icardi, with all due respect. I've left players out for far less in my time. You must have respect and behave in the locker room. The coach must be credible and recognised as someone who will do the right thing. Let's find an Inter fan and ask him. We'd have to go outside for that, mind you, and ask him if he likes a player negotiating to pull on the Inter shirt. This is the first time really we've heard properly, isn't it, Matteo, from Spalletti on the whole Icardi situation?
All the tension from the last few months have just come bubbling out because of the defeat, obviously, but this has to do so much with how the players right now, from what I've heard inside the dressing room, a lot of the players are just not having Mauro Icardi. With the way that his wife and manager, Wanda Nara, came out and attacked the players on national television, and her husband, Icardi, is letting her do that, saying, you're not passing to my husband enough, the right crosses aren't coming in. How are the players supposed to feel? So it's going to be difficult, and to me, it was a fractured relationship, and that's why I think Icardi this summer, I think he's going to split ways. And this is just the awkward stage now where he's ready to play. Obviously, he's healthy. The injuries that he has turned out to be complete shambles. And it's going to take a lot more doing for both parties to get on the same page. I personally don't think it's going to happen at this point. I feel like too much has gone by. There's been too many awkward moments. The stripping of the captaincy. Icardi saying he refuses to train with the club. Are you kidding me? You're still one of the highest paid players in the league, and this is happening at the midway point of the season that you're asking for more money now. It's an unbelievable situation. Yeah. One of the biggest names in Italy, the biggest name for Inter, who's been the focal point of their attack for the last 4 seasons. To me, I understand there's a camp against Spalletti and for Spalletti. I agree with most of the things he's saying. I don't see it as big of a problem to leave him out, given how fractured that locker room is right now. With Brozovic and Perisic especially, there's been reports of that relationship with them and Icardi completely going separate ways.
It doesn't matter if anybody's with Spalletti or against Spalletti, whether you want him sacked or stayed, good coach, bad coach. You change the coaches, the problem exists. It doesn't go away because the dressing room, as you said, is fractured. It doesn't like what it's seeing. So Icardi's a problem. Inter Milan are bigger, like most big clubs, bigger than any individual. They've got to get rid of this guy, right? And they can't get rid of him to the summer, right? You can't have this poisonous relationship around the dressing room. The dressing room is the most important thing in the game. What happens in the dressing room, it fosters the whole atmosphere about what you take onto the field. You can't have him around the dressing room. You can't sell him to the summer. So if they had anything about them, they would ban him from the club. Keep him away until... Now, I know this might have financial connotations, but that's something they have to weigh up what they want to do. Because clearly you can't have somebody like that, Stevie, around the dressing room, because it's just going to make the disease even worse.
Bad apple, isn't it?
Bad apple.
Bad apple and the barrel spoils a lot. That's exactly what's happening.
I can't think of an incident like this before, where the man, the face of the club, has turned his back in this way.
The trouble is, who else... You know, you're now talking about a transfer fee that's going down the way. You're now talking about big clubs who might have thought, oh, I want that. Yeah, I really could do with a really good striker, and I think I like Icardi. I've always said I liked him. But what problems is he going to bring to my football club? If he infests our dressing room like he's doing with the Inter Milan one, what am I getting from my money?
And I think the main thing that Spalletti's trying to drive home is the respect aspect, right? The integrity of the club, the fact that he said, and even at Rome, I mean, he's someone that has put Francesco Totti, who's seen as the gladiator of Rome, on the bench. So he's not afraid to make decisions that will anger the fan base, that will, you know, send shockwaves through the footballing world, and he's done just that yet again. But it all has to do with respect, with integrity, the fact that if he lets Icardi back based on the disrespect that he felt he's been getting as a coach, then what would it say to the players? That you can do just whatever you want, you can walk out on the team like this, few months, say, I'm not training, and then waltz your way back in and play for 20 minutes? I agree with Spalletti for the most part.
Fans are not going to back Icardi. The fact that Spalletti's come out and said that I've actually had to try and convince this guy to put an Inter jersey on He's done. He's completely done. And he's completely done with the rest of the players as well. You know, there have been players in lots of dressing rooms, and I've been involved in it as well, where somebody, either a player says something or their wife says something in a line, and you sort it out. But when it goes this far, it is not getting sorted out. The only way this changes is when that guy gets out the door, because it ain't going to change until then.
How much would it affect you, what's going on now? Like, if you're Chelsea, for example, looking for a striker, Icardi's, without a doubt, one of the best in the world.
Unfortunately, somebody's going to think that he can sort him out, and his wife.
Right.
And they'll be good for them. But, you know, another cliche, letters don't change the spots.
Yeah.
This guy will go into another dressing room, and then when things are going great, it'll be fine. As soon as it turns against him, then something will happen, and you'll have the same thing all over again.
Just to give you a quick idea of how crazy the situation has become, just a month ago, you had Wanda Nara, his wife and agent, going on Italian television, the most popular soccer television show, and the Inter CEO, Marotta, called in to personally talk to her on live television. It's a circus. It is pazza Inter, as they call it, crazy Inter times 10. I've never seen any situation like this in my life, and personally, I think Summer, he's gone.
If you were Abramovich, would you bring him in?
Kick him out.
Well, we've seen Roman Abramovich go out and spend 50 million on Fernando Torres when he was over the hill and Ancelotti didn't want him.
Yeah.
But I think those days, as Gab Marcotti has mentioned often in here on the show recently, that the emphasis for Abramovich has changed slightly in terms of the money that they're spending.
Yeah.
So if he wants to spend big money, he wants to be 100% sure in what he's getting. And what he's getting with this player is a very good player, but a heck of a lot of baggage. A heck of a lot of baggage. And I don't know if Icardi realises it himself, but he is destroying his own career with the potential to go to some of the biggest clubs if he wants to move from Inter by the actions of him and, just as importantly, his wife. So he's actually destroying his own career and making life difficult for Inter Milan and his coach as well.
For more, sign up now for ESPN+.